This video is about real estate and my farm and how to develop my farm I have in Costa Rica. So, as many of you, I have an interest in business, and at some point I just, due to a very lucky twist of fate, I inherited a piece of land, and I learned that this piece of land was worth quite a lot. It was actually worth 20 to 40 times more than what was worth at the time when it was purchased. And the other positive thing about it, it's already entirely paid for. So I had this land, and the first thing I did when I inherited the land is try to rent it as soon as possible. So it was like a little bit hard. Had to sell, get rid of some of the dogs, get rid of most of the cattle. The cattle wasn't producing the dairy. I made some research and it really wasn't producing anything. And then I invested heavily on the infrastructure inside. I had to cut some of the trees because they could fall in the house. And there was some disagreement upon what to do with the trees, but I had a huge desire to just get rid of most of the trees that were exotic in the piece of land. So I got rid of most of the pine trees, and I just basically rented one of the houses, and there were three structures. There was a dairy house, which was used to store all this stuff. There was a house that I rehabilitated just for people to live. And there's a larger house that can be sold very quickly if it's the case. So it can be rented very quickly if it's the case. So the property could be developed longer term. It has about 40 meters of land facing a public road, so this is actually relatively positive, even though there's a lot of land inside. So you can divide the front in as many pieces as possible. And then in the back, unless everything has to lead to a public road. So the back could only be subdivided into pieces that are 700 meters, and this is really not 700 meters in area. This is actually makes it a little bit harder to really develop. So it was not entirely ideal, because it would have to be, the ideal structure would be a grid to cut into tiny pieces and divide it to maximize profit, and just the larger pieces would be harder to sell. The pieces that would be in front would be easier to sell in front of the public road. So I just decided against this idea, and I really never developed the real estate idea. That being said, I did cut a lot of the trees, and just because I had to do it a little bit in a hurry for several reasons, I never got a good deal. I don't think I got the best deal possible, but I got a decent deal. And if things go as planned, all that will regenerate into a forest. So the land is in a very nice area of Costa Rica. It's facing the mountains and